Picture this. Someone criticizes you. Maybe it's your boss in front of the team. Maybe it's a comment on your post. Maybe it's your own family questioning your choices at dinner. Your heart rate spikes. Your mind races. You try to shake it off, but hours later, maybe even days later, you're still replaying their words. Still imagining what you should have said. Still feeling that knot in your chest. Why does this happen? Most men believe they're disturbed by events, by circumstances, by the chaos of the world around them. The truth is far simpler and far more liberating. We're disturbed by people, by their words, by their opinions, by their inability or refusal to understand us. And yet, the Stoics knew a secret that most men never discover. Your peace is never taken. It is only given away. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire in the world, facing constant criticism from senators, generals, and citizens. Seneca, one of the wisest minds in Rome, faced exile, betrayal, and eventually execution. Epictetus lived as a slave, property, not a person, under a cruel master. And all of them remained calm. All of them remained unshaken. All of them remained free. Why? Because they mastered the art of being unbothered, not by suppressing their emotions, not by pretending not to care, not by building walls around their hearts, but by training their mind, their focus, and their inner standards. Today, I'm going to share 6 Stoic ways to stay unbothered by anyone. These are not quick tips. These are not motivational band-aids. These are habits of unshakable men, mental disciplines that have survived 2,000 years because they actually work. By the end of this video, you'll understand why certain people no longer trigger you, why criticism loses its sting, why you'll walk through chaos with the calm of a philosopher king. This is not about becoming cold. This is about becoming free. Let's begin. Sorry for the interruption. If this resonated with you, please subscribe and comment your once subscribed. Give me motivation. Let's start. Principle 1. Separate what you control from what you don't. Epictetus, the slave who became a philosopher, taught us that life is divided into 2 categories. What belongs to you and what never did. Listen carefully, because this single distinction will change everything. You control your thoughts, your actions, your reactions, your effort, your character, your choices in this present moment. You do not control other people's words, their judgments, their moods, their opinions about you, their decision to understand or misunderstand you. The moment you try to control what never belonged to you, the moment you need someone else to act differently for you to feel okay, you hand them the keys to your inner world. Here's what this looks like in real life. Someone sends you a passive-aggressive text. You read it. Your stomach drops. You start crafting the perfect response. You delete it. You rewrite it. You ask a friend what they think. You lose an hour of your life to anxiety. Why? Because you're trying to control their perception, their reaction, their decision to be reasonable. None of that was ever yours to control. The unbothered man understands this deeply. He watches, he observes, he acknowledges the storm, but he never lets someone else's chaos touch his inner fortress. When someone insults or criticizes you, you don't internalize it. You don't make it mean something about your worth. You remind yourself, this is theirs, not mine. That boundary, that crystal clear line between your domain and theirs, is the first step toward real freedom. Most men suffer because they're fighting battles in territory that was never theirs. The Stoic withdraws his energy from those battles and invests it where it actually matters: his own character, his own choices, his own peace. Principle 2. Treat insults as reflections, not attacks. Here's something most people never realize. When someone insults you, criticizes you, or tries to tear you down, they're not really talking about you. They're talking about themselves. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, understood this perfectly. He wrote in his private journal, never meant for publication, that people speak from their own fears, their own pain, their own ignorance. Their words often reveal more about them than they ever could about you. Think about it. The person who calls you arrogant, they're probably insecure about their own confidence. The person who says you're not good enough, they're likely wrestling with their own feelings of inadequacy. The person who mocks your ambition, they've probably given up on their own dreams. This isn't pop psychology. This is observable reality. The Stoic response is to see insults as information, not ammunition. Instead of asking, why did they say that? And spiraling into self-doubt, ask, what does this reveal about them? This perspective shift changes everything. What once hurt now informs. What once triggered anger now teaches understanding. What once made you defensive now makes you curious. Imagine someone insults you in public. The old you would feel shame, anger, the need to defend yourself. The new you, the Stoic you, pauses. You recognize their words as a window into their inner world. You see their pain, their insecurity, their need to bring others down to feel elevated. And in that moment, you feel something unexpected. Compassion, not because you're a saint, but because you understand human nature. You see the game, and once you see the game, you can't be played by it. Silence, observation, and detachment become your shield. Not a cold shield, but a wise one. You're not ignoring reality. You're interpreting it correctly. Principle 3, delay your reaction. Master your emotions. Anger thrives on urgency. It wants you to react now, to send that text now, to say that thing you can't take back now. It wants to hijack your rational mind and turn you into a puppet of your emotions. Seneca called anger short madness. Think about that. Madness, not a useful emotion, not righteous passion, temporary insanity. He wrote, anger is short madness. It rules until patience returns. The Stoic man doesn't react immediately. He doesn't trust his first emotional impulse. He waits. He breathes. He reflects. That pause, that sacred space between stimulus and response, is where your power lives. That delay is freedom. Here's what happens in real time. Someone says something provocative. Your blood pressure rises. Your face flushes. Your mind starts generating all the reasons you're right and they're wrong. The average man opens his mouth and makes things worse. The unbothered man closes his eyes and takes 3 deep breaths. By the time others have lost control, he has already reclaimed it. Most men react, then regret. The Stoic reflects, then chooses. This doesn't mean you never respond. It means you respond from a place of clarity, not chaos. From power, not pain. In a heated meeting, someone undermines you. Everyone's watching. Your ego screams, defend yourself. Now, the Stoic pauses, counts to 5 internally, then responds with calm precision, or chooses strategic silence. Later, when you're alone, you process the emotion. You journal. You talk to a trusted friend. You decide if action is needed. But in the moment, you protect your peace. Because once words leave your mouth, you can't recall them. Once you act from anger, you've already lost. The pause is your power. Use it. Principle 4. Reduce the importance of opinions. We live in the age of opinions. Everyone has one. Everyone shares theirs. Everyone thinks theirs matters. And here's the trap. We've been conditioned to believe they're all important, that we need to consider them, weigh them, defend ourselves against them. The Stoics understood something radical. Most opinions don't matter. At all, Epictetus taught. It is not events that disturb us, but the meaning we give them. You give power to opinions by believing they matter more than they actually do. Here's the test. Ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Will this opinion matter next week? 2. Will it matter next year? 3. Does it define who I truly am? If the answer is no to any of these, especially all three, release it. A calm man doesn't argue with fools. He doesn't waste energy trying to change minds that are already made up. He doesn't chase validation from people who don't understand his vision. He conserves his mental energy for what actually matters. Think about how much energy you've spent trying to convince people who are never going to be convinced, defending yourself to people whose minds were already closed, seeking approval from people who are never going to give it. That energy is precious. It's your life force, and you've been pouring it into a bottomless pit. Someone leaves a harsh comment online. You could spend the next hour crafting the perfect response, imagining their reaction, checking back to see if they replied. Or you can ask, does this person's opinion of me change my reality? Does it define my character? Will I even remember this next month? The unbothered man scrolls past, not because he doesn't care about anything, but because he cares deeply about the right things. Your partner's opinion matters. Your mentor's feedback, valuable. A stranger's judgment, irrelevant. Learn to sort the signal from the noise. Most of what you're hearing is noise. Principle 5. Anchor your self-worth in character, not approval. Marcus Aurelius never asked if he was liked. He never checked the Roman Empire's approval ratings. Never lost sleep over whether the Senate respected him. Never needed the crowd to cheer for him to feel valuable. He asked a different question. Am I disciplined? Am I honorable? The Stoic man builds his identity inwardly. He measures himself against his own values, not public opinion, not social media metrics, not how many people showed up to his event. His values. When your self-worth comes from integrity, criticism loses its power. When your identity is rooted in character, praise loses its ability to inflate you. You no longer ask, do they like me? You ask, did I act rightly? This is the armor of the unbothered man. It protects him from emotional manipulation, from the toxic cycle of seeking validation, getting it temporarily, then needing more, from the crushing disappointment when people don't recognize his worth. You get passed over for a promotion. Everyone knows. Some people whisper. Others pity you. The validation seeker crumbles. His entire identity was wrapped up in external achievement. Now he feels worthless. The Stoic pauses. He reviews his actions. Did he do his best work? Did he act with integrity? Did he treat people well? If yes, then his conscience is clear. The outcome doesn't define him. His character does. This doesn't mean you don't have ambition. It means your peace doesn't depend on achieving it. You can want success without needing it to feel whole. That's the difference. Build your foundation on stone, on virtue, discipline, honesty, courage. Not on sand, on likes, follows, applause, approval. When the storm comes, and it always does, the man built on stone stands firm. Principle 6. Embrace solitude and self-sufficiency. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Dependence is vulnerability. When you rely on others for comfort, validation, entertainment, or emotional stability, you give them leverage over your peace. The Stoic man practices voluntary solitude, not as punishment, not because he hates people, but because he understands that the ability to be alone, truly comfortable in his own presence, is a superpower. He learns to enjoy his own company. He becomes comfortable with silence, not awkward silence, but rich, full silence where his thoughts can breathe. He trains himself to need nothing external to feel complete. A man who can sit with his thoughts without anxiety is impossible to control. A man who finds contentment within cannot be disturbed from outside. Think about it. The person who can't spend a weekend alone without FOMO, without checking their phone every 5 minutes, without needing plans to feel okay, that person is a slave, not to a master, to their own need for external stimulation. The Stoic trains differently. He schedules time alone. He walks without his phone. He sits in nature without distraction. He journals. He thinks. He processes his life instead of constantly consuming others' lives. This is not loneliness. This is strength. This is the quiet power that unshakable men carry. When you no longer need people to feel okay, your relationships transform. You stop being needy. You stop people-pleasing. You stop tolerating disrespect because you're afraid of being alone. You engage with others from abundance, not scarcity. Seneca practiced this. He would periodically live like a poor man. Simple food, basic clothing, hard bed. To remind himself he could survive without luxury. That he didn't need comfort to be okay. What would happen if you practiced this mentally and emotionally? What if you went 24 hours without seeking validation? Without checking metrics? Without needing someone to respond to feel secure? You discover something extraordinary. You're already complete. Let's come back to where we started. Someone criticizes you. Your boss. A comment online. A family member. But this time, something's different. Your heart doesn't race. Your mind doesn't spiral. You hear the words, you process them through your Stoic filter, and you remain unbothered. Not because you've become cold, not because you've stopped caring about anything, but because you've learned to rule yourself in a world of chaos. When insults no longer hurt you, when opinions no longer define you, when provocation no longer triggers you, you become free, truly free. This is not a quick fix. There's no magic pill, no one video that transforms you overnight. This is a daily practice, a lifelong discipline. It is the path of the Stoics, men who faced exile, slavery, betrayal, and the collapse of empires, yet remained at peace. It is the path of true wisdom, and it begins today. Here's your challenge. For the next 24 hours, practice one of these principles. Just one. Choose the one that resonated most deeply with you. Maybe it's creating that boundary between what you control and what you don't. Maybe it's pausing before you react. Maybe it's questioning whether an opinion actually matters. Choose one. Practice it. Notice how different the world feels when you stop giving your power away. Then come back here and tell me in the comments. Which principle did you choose? What happened when you applied it? Because here's what the Stoics knew that we often forget. Philosophy isn't meant to be studied. It's meant to be lived. Start practicing today and watch how the world loses its power over you. Watch how criticism becomes background noise. Watch how chaos swirls around you, but never through you. Watch how you become the calm at the center of the storm. This is your inheritance as a thinking person, as someone who refuses to be a slave to circumstance. Welcome to the path of the unbothered. Welcome to Stoic wisdom. Your freedom starts now.